What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 17 of podcast. I'll be joined today by Ed Hark, Vice President of Sales of Jorstin Logistics. We're going to go over, kind of their operations and how they got started over the past 20 years in business, speaking about warehousing, hiring, all of these kind of things. But just before we jump into the show today, we got to hit up EF Routing's top hauls of the week. Coming in at number 1 is Los Angeles to Phoenix. Number 2 is San Diego to Stockton. That's both dry van loads. The number 3 and 4 spot are both reefer loads from Washington to Texas, Los Angeles to Stockton again. West seems to be heating up from this data. Coming in at the bottom 2 spots for flatbed is some Texas freight and South Carolina freight. So the South seems to be doing great for flatbeds. I know that firsthand. Our South stuff is great as well. We've have a redesign on the best loops coming out of EF Routing. So, for dry van, if you start out in Los Angeles, head over to Laredo, get yourself down to South Carolina, wrap it back up with Louisiana. The deadhead on that entire loop's about 100 miles, nice and easy. You got the best loop for reefers starting out in Jacksonville, heading over to Brooklyn, New Jersey. You got Atlanta over to Jacksonville to wrap that loop up. Again, about 120 deadhead on that loop. And for flatbed, we got an interesting breakdown here. I spoke to them today about the flatbed stuff. Texas is pretty hot. I mean, there's a lot of freight coming out of there. This route is pretty optimized for somebody that wants to pretty much stay in Texas, do some local stuff. That's over, a 10, 11 day period. You can gross out about 13 grand staying pretty much in Texas. But that wraps it up for EF Routing stats of the week. Let's get into it with Ed Hark. What's going on, Ed?
Hi there. Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining me. We've been, having a great back and forth over the last year or so, I'd say.
Absolutely. This business is about relationships, and you meet all kinds of people in this business.
Yeah, I bet you never thought you'd end up on a podcast through those relationships, but here you are.
No, here we are.
I mean, let's jump into it. How did you get into logistics? Where was your start?
My start was I was in college up in New Jersey, and my father had spent his entire career in transportation. And during my college summers, I used to go work on a freight dock, just doing general warehouse stuff, forklift work, and unloading trailers and loading trailers for CF Motor Freight, which was the company he worked for. And I did that for the summers. I'd go in at 10 o'clock at night and work till 7 or 8 in the morning, just unloading trailers. And I had bigger aspirations other than transportation. I saw my dad do it for 30 years, and I said, I'm never, ever, ever going to do that. And that's exactly what I fell into. And I had aspirations to do other things, but in this business, we learn to pivot really quick. And my career aspirations changed pretty quick, and I was able to get on board with an LTL company back in 1991. And I only did that as a part-time thing. I was just going to work for Conway, doing some inside sales on the LTL side, thinking I'm just going to be here for a couple months till
gonna be in and out, not going to spend the rest of my life.
Till my real career gets going, and 30 years later, I've been stuck in this business. It's been wonderful. It's been great. It's been an amazing experience. But like I said, I just kind of fell into it. It was the last thing I'd ever thought I would do, but it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah, I mean, I had it always brings me back to this phone call I had with a broker years ago. And she was an older woman, and she told me, when I was 5 or 6 years old, I didn't grow up thinking I'm going to work with truck drivers every day. But I mean, here I am. So logistics usually ends that way. I don't think there's enough information, to be honest. I think in the high schools, they should start kind of bringing it in, like we have the trades creeping in, they're becoming more accepted in the general population. But I don't think anybody knows about being a broker or being, a dispatcher or even just truck drivers. I think that kind of needs to be spoken about a little bit more, because I think nobody thinks they're going to end up in logistics because they don't really know what it is, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, and you can find some logistics degrees around some colleges now.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the high school level, there certainly isn't anything like that. And, nobody ever grows up saying, I'm going to be in sales when I grow up. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody ever aspires to be a sales guy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you watched Boiler Room, in your teens, you might have thought about it.
Yeah. But
But I
you're
mean,
right.
what was
It's
your first
we need some
logistics
more ground root
success?
stuff. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
What was your first logistics success, you'd say? The first moment in logistics where you thought to yourself, like, I've accomplished something here today, and you kind of got you hooked in it.
It would probably go back to the first job that I had was with Conway, which we know now as XPO. I was doing inside sales for them for about 6 months, and at the time they brought people in to do inside sales to grow and mature and move up into different parts of the company. And 6 months in, I was given an opportunity to go be a dock supervisor, out in Wichita Falls, Texas, and that was the greatest thing in the world. Here I am, I was making $400 a month or a week, and now I get that bump to $475 a week, and I get to, supervise 4 other people. So
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was,
I guess if we adjust for inflation back then, that'd be like 4
yeah,
grand. So,
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, I had to do it. You told me you started in
no,
91, man. You
no.
walked yourself into that one.
You get that first opportunity, you get that first promotion. It just kind of gets in your blood, and you're like, man, this is something I like, and this might be something I might be good at.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that you started unloading trailers. I mean, that's something obviously. I worked in a warehouse making pallets, like like the product to put on the pallets, but I
Yeah,
never graduated to unloading the trucks or loading the trucks. Thankfully, I was in and out of there in like a 60-day period. So
yeah.
I think unloading trucks is a really cool way to start in this business because that's something that most people haven't ever done. I mean, I certainly haven't done it. So.
Growing up in this business, I look back and I had that experience where I get to see what good freight looks like. I got to see what tough freight looks like. I got to see what labor intensive freight looks like. It was a really good education. It was a good place to start.
I mean, what type of commodities were you dealing with? Is that all dry van stuff? Just
All dry van stuff. Yeah.
you ever see any of the pallets tip over, break on unloading, or were
I
you
did,
only
I
loading?
did quite a few myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the restacks, going through all the restack stuff.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to not have to go through any more restacks as a carrier now that I've switched sides. But
And when you're the new kid on the block, you usually get the trailer that's got 7,000 loose pieces that all need to be pulled out and put
yeah,
on
hand
pallets and
counted,
racks.
swept
Yeah,
up, like some spilled drinks. But
absolutely.
what
Yeah.
would you say was your first logistics fail? The first moment where you thought, "Ooh, I kind of screwed something up here."
You know, it, I don't know that there was really any certain failing moment. I mean, we fail every day.
Yeah,
Uh, if you
of
take
course.
if you take enough chances, in doing what we do every day, we're going to make mistakes every single
Oh yeah, I
day.
mean they always say success is just failing, like failure and
Failing enough
failure after
times.
another. Yeah,
Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure if I look back, I've had some monumental failures, but probably taking some positions along the way that maybe I wasn't quite the best fit for, but I thought I was at the time. And looking
that's a
back,
fair. That's a fair
yeah,
statement.
um, you know, there was a crowning moment where I was put into a position and I thought I was going to be perfect for that role, and it just didn't fit my skill set. And I found that out, over the next couple of years, and was able to make some adjustments and get myself into more of a spot where it really suits my skill
Where
set
you
and
did fit, yeah.
some things that I'm good at.
Well, I mean, I'm 26 now, going on 27 pretty soon, and when I kind of look back on my life, I realized when I was younger. I mean, I'm still doing it today. It's not like I've solved the issue, but I feel like when you're a kid, you're younger. Hindsight's 2020, but you always think, "Oh, I can do this. I'm gonna fit here," and you kind of put yourself in positions when you look back at it where you were like, "Oh, like I was pretty like not qualified to do these things, or I didn't enjoy doing these things," or I mean, I think
Yeah,
you have that kind of, I don't know, ego, I guess you could say, as a younger person, where you think like you're the best at everything, and I mean, as I get older, I start to realize, these things. But
Well,
somebody,
confidence is great, and you go into any role, you want to be confident. Obviously, not arrogant, but you want to feel like you're bulletproof, and you want to feel like you can step in and accomplish anything.
especially in trucking,
That's not
especially in,
that's not the worst trait in the world, but sometimes you overstep your boundaries and you step into some waters that just don't quite fit.
is your ringtone like a truck horn? Like,
That was the hockey horn. Yes.
hockey horn for goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, but
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing in trucking. You need that edge of arrogance, confidence, however you want to call it. You need that skill set behind you, especially in a sales role or most of trucking. You have to. People need to know that you know what you're doing, and it's definitely not a shy job. So
No, and I throw two words around quite a bit: trust and confidence. And I want the people that I work with to have trust and confidence in what I'm doing. And conversely, with the clients and the customers that I work with, I want them to have trust and confidence in me. So I want to portray myself as being trustworthy and being confident.
yeah, sorry, my girlfriend's in the other room laughing about the air horn thing, and I just
Oh,
keep hearing some giggles coming out of there. I can't keep a straight face, but no,
it
trust
was
and
it was her
confidence.
who was calling, by the way.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. You're fast on your feet. That's why I
Thank
like you. That's why I brought you on today.
Cool.
But I mean, let's let me just get out of my system.
I'll
Oh
call you
man,
back.
oh man, it's good. It's a good time over here. But
Yeah,
let's
tell her
try
I'll
to get
call her
into
back.
the serious stuff here, the work related stuff. I mean, walk me through what are you doing today? What's your day today look like? Where you are.
So, Jorstin Logistics, we're based here in Fort Worth, Texas. Um, Probably about 30 miles to the west of Dallas. My primary goal is sales and marketing for the company. So I've got two sales reps that are part of my team. So together, the three of us are, mounting journeys every day and trying to form relationships with customers, to bring business into our business. Um, I've got a book of business that I run myself. And then I also, work with the two sales reps that we have to foster them and help them move their book of business along. So it's a combination of a couple different things. So I'm helping other people. I'm trying to move my own business along, and also trying to support the needs of the company from the sales and marketing side. We've got an event next week, a trade show that we're going to go out to see. So we get out into the field. So we're preparing for that.
Yeah, I saw your post with some marketing materials. It looked great, man. I mean, you guys
Yeah,
put together some nice stuff, and I've been following this whole journey. I mean, when did you come over to Jorstin? I can't remember exactly. I feel like it wasn't super long ago.
it's almost been a year.
Almost been a year. I told you
Yeah,
I've been following you. We've been going back and
and,
forth. Like, I
and
remember when you came over.
if my old boss happens to be listening, my non-solicitation is running out soon, pal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Few
make
more
sure
days.
we make it a clip and we all repost it so they see it eventually.
Yes, we got a few more days and it'll be a year.
There you go, man. I mean,
Yeah.
bring me through the story of Jorstin. Why did you come here? What are they about? I kind of want to hear because I was under the impression that it was you started a brokerage for some reason. I'm
Oh,
not sure how I got there. I'm not saying that you've led anyone to believe that.
I,
I
I,
just somehow convinced myself,
I don't have that much courage. Um, so
especially in this market.
yeah, no kidding. Boy, we could tell stories about the last 4 years. Jorstin was started 20 years ago. Jorstin is a family-owned and veteran-owned 3PL logistics company that's been going for about 20 years now. The company was started by a gentleman named Greg Braswell. Greg had served in the Army in his younger days, and that's why we were classified as a veteran-owned business. But Greg started the company 20 years ago out of his kitchen, out of his house. He was between opportunities at the time, and he had a customer reach out to him and say, "Hey, I've got a project I need some help with." And Greg said, "I'd absolutely love to help you." And it was supposed to be a short-term project. It turned into be a long-term project. And then Greg had some other customers that reached out to him and said, "I'd love for you to do some business with me." And He was just operating out of his kitchen doing truckload brokerage. That's all he was doing.
I mean, it
And
makes me laugh though because I'm sitting also in my kitchen, and that's
yeah,
kind of become my new place for the podcast. So I hope 20 years from now I can say, yeah, I started this in this kitchen.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Everybody's got, the story about how they got started. But
What
anyway,
type of freight were they moving? Like, what are you guys doing over there? What do you specialize in, or what type of freight is getting moved the most?
right now.
Yeah, currently, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of target some things that are time sensitive. So we're looking for things that are time critical. So if something, if something has to pick up at a certain time, if something's got to deliver at a certain time, if there are parameters and time constraints, those are the things that we kind of get involved with. But it's all kinds of products. It's high technology products. It's pharmaceuticals, medical and supply. We do quite a bit of trade show work. Before COVID shut us down, a massive percentage of our business was trade show business.
So how
And
do you guys handle that? Because I was a carrier for a long time, and every time I heard the word trade show, I was like, like, what are you guys gonna do to me this time, man? But I mean, trade show freight can be awesome, and it can also be the worst freight in the world as a carrier. But I always loved it because I used to deliver at the Comic Con, and I was just happy about it. I remember the first time we got the Comic Con freight. I asked my driver, like, "Hey, see what's in there?" It's just all crated up. I thought I'd see like a Wolverine for some reason statue
yeah,
like strapped down. But I
yeah.
mean, how did you like the trades show stuff?
The trade show stuff is great, but it's, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with relationships and people business. You can't, you got to trust those shipments with really great carriers. And it comes down to having great carriers. It comes down to having great drivers that are responsible and communicative to make sure that we're in the right place at the right time and that we're doing the right things to get in and out of those different events. So,
Yeah, and a huge thing with it for me was I always told my drivers, like, listen, the rate is fantastic. Here you go. Here's the rate. I know you're happy with the rate, but listen, it's a trade show load. When you go there, you might not get loaded for a while. Like, expect to be over there for a while. Like you have to prepare the driver
absolutely.
for what they're going into. And I think that's kind of maybe where some carriers fail, where they maybe don't explain to the driver what goes into the load. Because I mean, I've heard the stories where driver goes to trade show load, don't get loaded for 6-7 hours, then they just leave. And I think you got to prepare them for that situation.
No, for sure, and it's all about communication. When you tell a guy to go in, if he's going to the marshaling yard or if he's going actually to the actual event site, it's you're going to prepare this guy, and he may sit for, like you said, 6 or 7 hours. He may sit for 8 or 10 hours. But the bottom line is, we're going to pay you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do the right thing. I just need you to sit tight and wait in that line until we get that stuff offloaded.
No, of
So,
course. But I mean,
yeah.
let's get away from the trade show stuff back to the inception of Jorstin. So started in a kitchen, it's kind of word of mouth operation, moved some freight, word of mouth spread. Where did it kind of go from there?
So they made a decision about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was, are we going to get a warehouse or are we going to get trucks? So we were going to we were going to go one direction or the other. And of course, it's a family business. So you have somebody saying we got to do this, and you have somebody saying we got to do that.
Well, I'm happy to know that you guys didn't go the truck route for what's been happening the past 2.5, 3 years, man. I think you made the right call with.
Yeah, we think we did too. So we went with the warehouse side. So 2 years ago, we got into a facility that had a beautiful suite. It had about 38,000
We
square.
can we have it actually. Here you go. This is
There we
perfect.
go.
This
Yeah,
is the outside of the warehouse.
that is the outside of our beautiful facility here in Fort Worth,
There you
Texas.
go. And this is now the inside of this beautiful facility.
Yeah, so that portion of our warehouse is fully racked. It's about 36,000 square foot. We quickly realized getting into this space that we needed some more space. So we knocked down the walls next to us. We took You can see the hole in the wall there.
Here on the left side.
Yeah, we knocked that hole out, and then we took another 36,000 square foot of space. So we
Wow.
took 2 suites, and we're now up to 72,000. There it is.
I guess this is
We
the
use
second
that
side.
space for lots of cross docking. We do lots of inbound container D-van operations. We do lots of final mile and white glove stuff where we'll receive in, 15, 20 trucks. We'll unload everything onto our dock. We'll create some straight truck loads, and we'll run those trucks across the country to go make, white glove final mile direct to store deliveries on some things.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like super interesting. Like that's the thing in freight. You have to do something a little bit specialized because I mean I've realized very quickly, the dry van market is I mean everybody and their mother has a dry van and I mean you gotta be doing some kind of different things out here. Especially in like the past 2.5 years. I mean everyone's doing the same stuff. You gotta find, your value add into the industry.
For sure, and we're classified as a broker. Most brokers don't have facilities and don't have warehouses, and we kind of wanted to differentiate ourselves. We wanted to give all of our customers the opportunity to do some warehousing, do some distribution.
I guess you guys could call yourself warehouse based brokers.
Well,
Just
we
inventing a new term now.
yeah, we've got a separate company that helps us, manage that piece since we're just a broker, but we've got a separate piece that is that warehouse piece. But
Yeah,
it's been great because, again, we can offer customers some more solutions, some more catered options and things.
yeah, it's definitely cool. I mean, if you're in logistics, having a warehouse or even, I mean, as a carrier, just having like a huge like space to park trucks or like logistics is always space related. So the more space you have, the more options you have to do stuff, right? I mean, when it comes to truck parking or freight storage, I mean, it's always a good situation to be in.
Absolutely. It is. It gives us that extra tool.
Yeah, I mean, what would you say? I mean, how has the past kind of year looked for you guys? I mean, so you're moving dry van freight basically right now.
We run a lot of dry van freight. Yes, that'll be probably 98% of what we do. We do some reefer stuff. Not a lot, but we certainly have the capability to do that.
Yeah.
The last year has been challenging. The freight business in general has been challenging.
Oh,
Uh, the only the only thing that we're kind of hanging on to is the fact that we've kind of diversified some of the different things that we're doing, so that if straight truckload dry van, has flattened out a little bit, we've got some LTL programs. We're doing some expedited straight trucks and sprinter vans. We're doing the trade show stuff.
I
You
mean,
know,
talk to me about LTL because I'm not the most familiar with obviously the process. I never ran the freight as a carrier. I've obviously never come across it yet in my short stint on the brokerage side of things. I mean, why are people so scared of LTL? Why do you see constantly people running away from it, saying it's hard to deal with? Well, what's going on with LTL?
it's its own different animal. It really is. Having spent 16 years doing that, and now being over on this side, it's kind of given me an advantage in terms of understanding how to operate that from the broker side. You're dealing with drivers who may or may not be able to make a pickup on the day that it's supposed to. So now if a driver runs late or if a driver fills up at a previous stop, now you have a missed pickup. Those are things that you can't control as a broker, but we have to manage that because that's our customer's business. So, there's transit time issues, there's damage issues because now that freight is crossing 2 or 3 or 4 different, hubs in terms of the system. So it can get lost, it can get damaged. There's a lot more opportunity for problems and trouble that come across rather than just pure point A to point B drive
Oh,
in, pickup and delivery.
I just had the picture in my head trying to like understand the process. It reminded me of if you send like a letter or like a small package through, the major postal services and it's going to go through like 6 or 7 sorting facilities, and
It's the
they
same
always
thing.
use my stuff. I mean, I'm like, for whatever reason, I don't order anything on the internet. I hate it. Like, I think that I'm always going to get scammed. They're not going to send it to me. Every time I try to order something, it gets lost somewhere. It gets stuck in some facility for like 7 to 10 business days. So, I mean,
Right.
that's the picture I have in my head of LTL freights.
But the thing about LTL is you got to be smart about what freight you put in that pipeline. It can't be time sensitive, because again, there's going to be issues with transit times. There's going to be maybe a missed pickup. There may be a missed delivery. So if you're smart about what freight you put in that pipeline, that's the biggest key. The other thing is communication. There's a few more steps in the communication process to work with those LTL carriers, making sure they're making the pickups, making sure the deliveries are scheduled. It's a little extra work, but here's the thing, Alex. Every single shipper that you have that's shipping dry van freight, they're shipping LTL. Every single one.
That's the Ed Hark secret bomb drop
Every,
mic drop.
every single customer that we have, and I'm being, it may not be every single customer, but 95% of the customers.
99% of every
Yes.
customer.
95% of the dry van customers are going to have some kind of LTL, and somebody's handling that. And it goes back to our philosophy with the diversification of the different services that we have is, if I can get XYZ customer to give me their dry van and their LTL and their trade show business and their expedited, and then maybe I start to ask them for some international opportunities. I'm trying to get my hooks in. I just want to get my hooks in that client and get as many different segments of business that I can from that customer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing I see a lot in the industry is what you're good at, like you specialize not in one thing, but in a couple things, and you always have those people that say, hey, I'm always worried about it now too, because I've heard it through the podcast, through LinkedIn posts, is like, if you ever see a broker say that they can do everything, like drayage, LTL, flatbed, like if you see somebody that says, yeah, I could do every possible mode of transportation, that's usually a red flag. I mean,
and as a sales guy, and I call myself a sales guy, I'll never tell one of my customers we do everything, because I honestly think that is the worst thing you could portray, is because they're going to look right at you and say, okay, you do everything, but what do you do that's really well? What do you specialize?
Like, what do you actually do? Like,
what should I really be calling you for? I mean, you don't really do everything. Nobody does.
Yeah, nobody can do everything. That's the thing.
No.
I mean, I know a fair amount in the logistics industry, but
Yeah.
I'd be insane to think I even know 5 to 10% of what's going on. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's just so much happening. You have ocean freight, air freight. It's just too many things. There's no way that you can be proficient in the entire industry until you're maybe 100 years old. But I mean, you definitely have to pick a couple things and be good at those things, right?
And that's kind of what we've tried to do with Jorstin, is pick 4 or 5 really good things that we do. And we go out and we do the sales and marketing for those, because those are the things that the company does well. Those are the things that our operations people do really well. And those are the kind of things that set us up for success.
Oh, so that brings me perfectly into the next part. I mean, what does the next, 2 to 5 years look like over there? What are you guys doing well? What do you guys enjoy doing? What's not working? I mean, what are you guys focusing on, in the short to long term here?
Again, it's narrowing down that scope of our services, not trying to be everything for everybody, being really good at about 4 or 5 different things, going out and finding clients that, and this is the big piece for us. We try to target clients that understand value and appreciate a relationship. We don't want to be part of a chain email where there's 300 brokers bidding on freight. That's
racing to the bottom for dollar a mile freight that the trucks are losing money on.
We're not going to dive to the bottom. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to pick 4 or 5 good modes of service. We're going to go out and try to develop good relationships, establish some trust and some confidence with customers that need good value, that need good communication, and don't mind paying a fair price for it.
I mean, honestly, I think that was some of the best advice I ever got. I don't know, a couple of years back when I was on the carrier side of things. I can't remember who said it to me or where I saw it. Or it was basically something along the lines of, don't be the cheap option. Don't be like advertising as the cheap option. Provide a value add. Do the best you can at something. As in my case, I was a carrier. I wanted to be the best carrier. I answer every email. I solve every problem to the best of my abilities, and then you command a better price, right? Like you need to be, I want to be the expensive option. I want to be the person that brings value. I'm not just, I don't want to just make money for free. Obviously, you have to do stuff to get there. But
Well,
that was one of the best advice I ever got in logistics.
Circling back to our discussion about being confident, if somebody's going to do business with you, they're not getting just the average run of the mill Joe. They're getting a guy that's going to answer his phone 24/7, 365, have solutions, be creative, and be proactive with the communication. There's a price to pay for that.
Yeah.
And people are going to understand.
It's just so, it's simple, right? Like, I mean, obviously you need to shut off, you need to do stuff sometimes, but I mean, for me, when my phone rings randomly throughout the night or this or that, it doesn't bother me. I don't look at it like, oh, wow, I have to work. It's like, it's interesting to me. Like, I enjoy the industry. So for me, it seems simple, right? Like, oh, if you call me after 4 p.m. CST, I'll answer my phone. Like, that seems very simple. But a large portion of the logistics industry does not answer the phone at 4 or 5 p.m.
No, you're absolutely right. There's a price to pay for that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value to that.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, let's get into sort of the more personal kind of things. I want to know some stuff about you. I want to know what sport. I mean, I guess I already know the answer is hockey at this point. What's your favorite sports? What are your favorite sports teams?
Dallas Stars. We're big hockey fans, and we've got the Dallas Stars here in town, and they made a wonderful run this year at the Stanley Cup. They didn't quite make it, but my wife
if
and
it makes you feel any better, I'm from Toronto, and the Maple Leafs are just they've been doing Maple Leaf things for my whole life. So.
I get it. I understand. Yeah, that's a tough one. So we love hockey. We love to watch hockey games. We love to go to hockey games. We love college football. College football is going to get started up again. So we really enjoy watching college football on the weekends. We're big Crimson Tide Alabama fans. So we enjoy college football. And of course, NFL. My wife's got her favorite team. I've got my favorite team. So we've got the NFL that's going to kick off here pretty soon. So that's always exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to start kind of getting into these sort of personality things because, I mean, I see all of these people on LinkedIn every day. We all see everybody, and it's like, you don't really know much about them, you just see their personal side of things. You see their highlight reels. And I wanted to start, asking people, what kind of sports do you like? What kind of music do you like? These kind of more personal things, right? Because if you want to hear somebody just talk about exactly what they do all day, most podcasts, or you can go watch 6 of the same podcasts with the same guest and you'll hear pretty much a lot of the same things. So I want to try to diversify it a little bit. So we got hockey and football is basically your main sports.
Yeah, love to get out and golf.
Golf.
Kind of got sucked into golfing with my dad growing up as a kid, but in this business, it's a great opportunity to get a client and get their undivided attention for about 5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to build a relationship too. And again, circling back to creating relationships.
What was it? Trust and confidence. I'm going to start using trust and confidence.
Yes.
The old TNC coming from Hark.
We're here in Dallas. We're just 5 hours from the coast, from the Gulf of Mexico. We enjoy going to the beach and enjoy, going and spending time, on the water. And we're just 5 hours from it. And we've got a ton of area lakes around here too. So we enjoy getting out on the lake as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm over here in Serbia the past few years, and unfortunately we're pretty landlocked. I mean, we have some nice rivers and stuff, but the good part about that is that I'm nothing but an hour or 2 plane ride from the sea. I can go on a quick 8 to 10 hour car ride to the sea. As far as golf goes, love golf, love the game. I grew up also with my dad playing golf, going to the driving ranges. But then I kind of stopped playing and I picked it back up sort of in high school because we had a golf team.
Sure.
And the worst part of my game is driving. I just cannot drive that ball to save my life. It always goes to the right every single time. But my iron game is pretty good. And my grandfather told me, as long as you hit one nice shot in the whole day was worth it, you know? So
That one shot always keeps you coming back.
every single time.
Yeah.
Last kind of personality thing is your favorite type of music. I have no idea how this could go.
Good golly.
Good golly.
Good golly.
I mean, a genre. It doesn't have to be your favorite band by name. I mean, what do you find yourself listening to the most?
Let's see here.
You seem like you don't listen to a lot of music if you have to think about
Hill,
it.
DMX, Dawkins, Eminem,
DMX.
5 Death Punch, Godsmack. Let's see here. Kid Rock, Korn, Kicks, LA Guns, Led Zeppelin, Linkin Park, Lynch Mob, Marilyn Manson, Metallica.
Okay, so Ed's definitely got some different genres going on there. Nice
Yeah.
mix. Some familiar names, some names I didn't think I would hear, to be honest. So.
Anything except country music, which is kind of weird because I'm kind of
You seem like the kind of guy that would enjoy country.
Fort Worth is the center of country music, and anything but.
You definitely strike me as a country music kind of guy. So that definitely didn't go the way I thought it would.
Headbanger for sure.
But all right, man, wrapping it up pretty much in the last one or two sort of things is, what's your craziest logistics story? Best, worst? I mean, what's the story that you just can't get out of your mind, you know?
We've all got some troubled shipments that we've all had at times, but I guess, way back in 95, I was with Conway, again, the LTL company, and I was up in Oklahoma. I was working for them up in Tulsa. And at the time, on the interstates, you could run double 45 and double 48s, and you could also run the triple pup trailers, which are the 28-foot trailers. And at the time, the company wasn't doing that. And I was a young manager. I didn't have any problem standing up and making suggestions at the time. And lo and behold, while I was up there, we were able to get our company certified and get our drivers running up and down the highways with 3 of the triple pup trailers. So that was kind of exciting. So you had, 28, 56, 84 foot of trailer, with 2 connector gears, and you got a tractor, and you got somewhere close to 100 foot of equipment running up and down the highway.
Following you,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like that Discovery Channel show, something about those Australian road trains, man. Are they like 7 trailers in the middle of nowhere? Like,
yeah. So back in '95, I was part of that team that got that going for Conway. Was getting triple trailers squared away and running up and down the highway. So that was kind of fun.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely not something you would see every day. I don't even know if that's legal at this point.
Yeah. They still do it up in Oklahoma. You can't do it down here in Texas, but they do it.
I mean, that's kind of interesting to me. You'd figure in Texas you'd be allowed to do it. You figure maybe in Florida you'd be allowed to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean, I got the one last question for you, and I'm still debating on whether I scrapped this from the show or not, but it went pretty good on the last one. It gave me a laugh, at least. What's your favorite joke?
I listened to this, and I said to myself, I need to write a joke down, and I didn't do it. I am not a joke guy. I've never been a joke guy.
But did you write a joke down?
No, I mean, give me an F for preparation because I didn't prepare a joke for today, and I should have.
All right. Well, that's like I think I'm like 1 for 10 on that question, but I think I'm going to keep doing it because it's funny for me, at least. So.
No, it's great. I love a good joke. I love comedy. Love watching comedians. I've just never been the one that can retell and remember good jokes.
I think stand-up comedy is one of my favorite things in the world because it's just a person with a microphone, and you have to be funny, and there's nothing you can do but tell jokes. I mean, It's
You
one
know,
of the
they're
hardest things if you think about it. Like you can
they're
really,
amazing storytellers. They really are.
yeah, I love stand-up comedy. But we're gonna get into the final part of my show from me, and it's chicken wing choices. But some big news coming from today's show is now there's an official sponsor of the chicken wing choices. That's going to be Fair Trade Workforce with founder Vince Gonzalez. They're basically a dedicated company offering people in Central America, meaningful employment for U.S. based logistics companies. My favorite part about them, the reason that like he kind of sold me on them, was so I live also overseas, so I wanted to be a partner with somebody doing stuff like this. But his selling point to me was if somebody doesn't have like a computer at their house, or they don't have two monitors, because I mean you always need at least two monitors in logistics. He will bring that employee a computer and two monitors, and he has like a local IT guy that'll come fix it for them and stuff. So I think it's just going to change a bunch of lives. He's doing some, it's a good mission. It's a good project.
That's a person that is impacting people's lives.
Yeah, like he's giving, like he was telling me it's about a 3-hour bus ride into the town that most people would work out of. And he said, like, screw this, man. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to buy a bunch of IT stuff and I'm going to like change these people's lives. And that's just something I can get behind. Like the guy is such a good guy.
How can you not love and support that?
Yeah, right. Like, and that's the thing. I don't want to be a part of things that I don't believe in, but I mean that's just such a good story, man. And
It is.
I love to see it. But like I said, that's our official sponsor of the chicken wing choices. And Ed Hark played a massive role in establishing the chicken wing choices. So you're kind of the godfather of the segment. You've kind of pioneered the most popular part of this show. Everyone watched it. I don't know how it got to this point. It started off as a joke on LinkedIn, some comments back and forth. Here we are today, and it's going to be Ed Hark's chicken wing choices.
And that just came about, and I'll be quick. That just came about because, often so much during our day, and even on LinkedIn, we're talking about such serious topics and serious issues. And who can ever get into, how can you ever have a genuine conflict or a genuine disagreement about a piece of chicken?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm getting a little emotional about it when people keep answering flats, man. I hate flats. You need two hands. There's all this bone stuff going on. There's like that little piece at the end that's always crunchy, and you don't know if you should eat it or you shouldn't eat it. Like, I don't like flats. Like
Flats are stupid.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. No, I get it. Like, I understand. How can you be genuinely upset about chicken wings? But
yeah, I mean,
I'm
that's
slowly finding my way into it, to be honest.
and we had the one gentleman make the point of, you pull the one little leg out, and then suddenly there it all is. But it's just too much work. Just
I can't remember who said that. I was like, I don't know how you're eating those flats, but I'm not doing it. Anyways, Ed, here we go. The godfather of chicken wing choices. Are you drums or flats?
Drums all day.
Thank God. Ranch or blue cheese?
It's blue cheese.
Okay,
it's absolutely blue cheese.
And please be right here. Please, breaded or non-breaded?
Non-breaded.
Careful. You can take an extra 10 seconds. Think about it.
Non-breaded.
Oh, Ed, man.
Well, I mean,
you were right there. You were right at the finish line of a perfect chicken wing choices, 3 out of 3, and
okay.
You just had to do it at the end. You just had to do it, right? Like you had to do it to me. You invented the segment, and you had to give the incorrect answer.
Sorry, I hate to disappoint you.
Well, Ed, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming by. It's been fantastic to finally meet you and talk to you after years of back and forth and great conversations on LinkedIn. But now I'm going to turn you over to Lev. He's the founder of Everest back in the day. He's now the current president of Alpha SR, which is a staffing and recruiting firm specializing in the logistics space. And you're going to now participate in Lev's segment called Rapid Fire. Enjoy that.
Excellent.
Hi, Ed. It's a pleasure to finally meet the founder and the brains behind, chicken wing choices. So
it's a big responsibility, Lev, but I'm going to try to do my best.
You have big shoulders, and welcome to Rapid Fire, where we're going to get to know you a little bit better from all different perspectives. Do a 360 about you. We're going to play two quick games here. First game is either or. So you need to select one, and the second game is going to be first thought. And you're going to have to say the first word that comes to your mind. You're going to have 5 seconds to answer each of them. Are you ready?
I'm prepared. I'm ready.
All right. So, inside sales or outside sales?
Outside all day long.
Dry van, reefer, or flatbed?
Drive in.
This is a toughie. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Full truckload or LTL?
Full truckload.
Baked potatoes or mashed potatoes?
Mashed all day.
Dat or truck stop?
Truck stop.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes. Redheads.
Okay. Free lunch or free dessert?
Free lunch.
Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
Dunkin' Donuts all day.
Calling or texting?
Calling.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Golf or football?
God. Football.
Tequila or whiskey?
Tequila.
Bezos or Musk?
Musk.
Google Suites or Microsoft 365?
Microsoft 365.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Side of fries or side of veggies?
Fries all day.
Freight waves or freight caviar?
Freight waves.
Olympics or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
Introvert or extrovert?
Both. Extrovert.
Flying or driving?
Driving.
CHR or coyote?
Coyote.
Tabasco or sriracha?
Tabasco.
Budweiser or Miller?
Budweiser.
Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Biden or Trump?
Trump.
Would you rather be on a dating show or a survival show?
Survival show.
You do it every day, right?
Every day.
Congratulations. You've completed the first segment.
Excellent.
Second segment. Game called First Thought. First thing that comes to your mind, try to limit it to as few words as possible. Are you ready?
Sure. Ready.
Most important sales metric.
Call length.
All right. Most important person in freight.
Alex.
Fair enough. Favorite athlete.
John McEnroe.
Favorite Eminem song.
Oh, shoot. Which is little 8 Mile song.
Favorite color.
Blue.
TONU.
Truck order not used.
Yep. Favorite outsource. We could go on. Favorite outsource country.
Favorite what?
Favorite country to outsource.
Mexico.
Lumper.
Fee.
Favorite artist.
We'll go Prince.
Strong solo.
They're usually lying.
Non-competes.
I got another week and a half.
Favorite city.
Edinburgh, Scotland.
Best carrier.
Jorstin, of course.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish.
The dressing, stuffing.
TQL.
Competitor.
Favorite federal holiday.
Halloween. No, Christmas.
Biggest regret.
Not networking more as I was younger.
First come, first serve.
Just be there quick.
Fraud.
It's out there. Beware.
Celebrity crush.
Golly. I don't have one.
We have to bring him back, Alex. All right. Best TMS.
Port, the one we use, PORT.
RFP.
Hate them.
Minimum wage.
Rising quickly.
Favorite historical figure.
George Washington.
Drink of choice.
Chardonnay, white wine.
Perfect. Favorite video game.
We'll say Pac-Man.
What comes to your mind when I say love?
My wife.
Detention.
Fraud.
Late pickup.
Avoidable.
Moving on. Cereal.
Fruit Loops.
Taylor Swift.
Travis Kelce.
Logistics.
It's been my life.
Favorite logistics company outside of yours.
Golly. Sorry.
Come on. Okay, here we go. Couple more questions here as we wrap it up. What would you say is the weirdest thing about you?
I'm really an extrovert in my business life, and I'm a total introvert outside of the business.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And here's a couple more. This is an important one, so prepare yourself.
Okay.
What do you think a freight wedding should look like?
Boy, maybe on the back of a dry van that's, running down the road at 55 miles an hour and everybody's inside getting married. I don't know. Never thought about it.
Okay. And the worst complaint that you've ever had?
Golly. I guess just rude or inconsiderate drivers.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad ones and even more good ones. So
yeah, no, there's great ones out there.
Absolutely. Well, listen, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for playing Rapid Fire, and it was a pleasure getting to know you. I've really enjoyed the interview here with that you had with Alex, and
thank you.
I wish you the very, very best.
Appreciate you very much.
I appreciate your time, Ed. I'm happy
Thank you, Alex.
to be back, Lev. We kind of launched your segment and then you disappeared. So I'm happy to have you back at home, back and ready to be a part of every show. We didn't really plan the launch very well because Lev decided he's going to go on a quick trip and his internet ended up not working. So we just kind of launched it and then it disappeared. For
Listen, I was just waiting for Ed. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But hey, listen, guys, I appreciate both your time. Once again, nice to finally meet you, man. And
you as well. Appreciate the friendship.
Take it easy, guys.
Take care.
And that is the end of episode 17. A quick shout out to our newest sponsor, truckerfy. This is an app for truck drivers to find trucking jobs. It's available in the Google Play Store, in the Apple App Store. It allows drivers to download an app, create a profile, and go on a job hunt that's much more tailored to what they're looking for. It's also a tool for carriers to hire drivers with a lot more upfront information. It's a lot more cost effective, and I think this is going to be something that's going to become very big in this industry and solve, a lot of problems for drivers, a lot of problems for carriers. I spent about 8 months in the past, very recently, doing some driver recruiting for my past carrier company. It's an old school process. It definitely needs some innovation. And I think our newest sponsor, truckerfy, is the answer for that. Thank you, everybody, and have a good rest of your day.